Hey guys, Dantics here, back with another Crimson Desert video.
Be at ease, I'm here.
I recently had the opportunity to go hands-on with the game for almost a full day, and there are a ton of things you absolutely need to know. So in this video, I'll be going through the top 20. Let's get right into it. By exploring the beautiful world, you can find wild mounts like this horse. To tame them, you have to sneak up and catch them, or just corner them like I did. When you jump on, you'll need to fill a meter to break them. This consumes your stamina, so naturally that means that higher level mounts will require higher levels of stamina to tame. So yes, it's like Zelda in that stamina will help you climb and do other things, but come on. Playing Crimson Desert like some kind of medieval Pokemon simulator is why I'll be personally raising my stamina high to start with. Note that even though we weren't allowed to record the footage, we got to try out a dragon mount and a mech. The mech was kitted out with weapons like missiles and miniguns. The dragon could fly around and rain down balls of fire or channel a stream of it. I don't know how you get them in game, but I doubt it'll be a find and tame situation. Spirit is used for a range of magical attacks and skills. It can be regenerated by eating particular foods or by killing targets. When you kill, you'll see a green shimmer. The shimmer is also helpful because it lets you know you've killed a target, which sometimes can be hard to know in the heat of battle as you throw enemies around like ragdolls, only for them to recover off screen and stab you in the back when you're not looking, which is a good reason to invest into AoE abilities. The game contains a slew of busty bar mate.
Oh well.
Excuse me, buddy? Damn, the game doesn't hold back. I barely ran past the guy. The sound design has its moments, but the music does as well. Check out one of the Witcher-like tracks that plays when you get into combat. The world is massive and truly feels living and breathing. One such example is the fact you can run into all kinds of animals. Yes, there are dogs, and yes, you can pat them and make them follow you, at least briefly. You can pet your mounts. You can even pick up kittens and pat them as you walk or ride to your next destination, only letting them go when you opt to let them go or when you get dragged into a cutscene. This means that yes, you can do awful things to them, but I didn't try it because I'm not a monster. You're thinking about the possibilities now, aren't you? Well, take this lamb instead. It's cute, but it's much more socially acceptable to slaughter them. No, you can ride with a little thing in your arms as well. That's new. When facing enemies in combat, you have two ways to target them. Well, three if you count not targeting them at all and swinging wildly. First, you have a soft lock-on. Holding L1 will raise your shield and loosely lock onto the closest enemy. This will keep you safe but not lock the camera, letting you be more fluid in seeing the whole battlefield. Then there's pressing down on the D-pad once, which hard locks onto the closest enemy. Great for when you're fighting duels or against a boss, as the camera also locks as well. Both will block most attacks from the front, which is great when you're facing down a few enemies. However, against scrubs, you'll often be surrounded. That's why rolling and dodging comes in handy, as well as AoE attacks like I mentioned. Your shield can also be used to bash enemies off cliffs and into their friends. Yes, physics is your friend in this game. Note that blocking depletes your stamina, so defensively, stamina investments can make you tankier than health. Think of it like stamina as your shield that regenerates automatically, and it also happens to do other things like big power attacks and help with traversal. While health needs items to regenerate and doesn't do anything outside of combat. At least not that we know of yet. It could be a whole Zelda Breath of the Wild Master Sword thing where you need to have a certain amount of health to pull out the sword. You get what I'm saying. Speaking of regenerating health, the best way to do so is in combat with food you've cooked. A good meal can restore health as well as stamina and spirit. The better the food, the stronger the restoration. You can find cooking recipes in the world, but you don't have to follow them. Yes, they will produce good meals, but if you don't have exactly what you need, you can experiment with different combinations of ingredients similar to Zelda. Again, I know I keep mentioning it. You can buy ingredients, you can find them, you can harvest them, or even farm them at your homestead. Another way is to hunt, kill, and skin animals that will yield a lot to cook with. In battle, you can swap to the healing items you want and press right on the D-pad to quickly eat them during combat. It's like a limited health potion drinking effect you can get in games like Diablo 2. You can also make an item that revives you when you're downed. The one we had revived us to 30% health. So crafting and cooking seems very worth your time, but you could also buy stuff if you don't wish to partake. And you can simply be a rascal and get by committing crimes. However, murdering, assaulting and stealing will give you a bounty. If you don't pay and it gets high enough, the guards will attack you on sight. You can kill almost anyone though. However, if an NPC is needed, they won't be able to be killed right away until the quest they're attached to is done, similar to Skyrim. You can see that here. It's not the most elegant system, but it means you can be a menace out in the massive open world as your heart's content without worrying about hard locking yourself out of the main story. When the guards attack you and you're taken down, you'll spend time in prison and your bounty will be removed. However, that doesn't mean you no longer have to pay it. In fact, it's automatically taken out. I ended up with negative gold here and couldn't start a mission that required me to give a coin to a beggar. The devs made suggestions that this would be changed for release. Of course, for the sake of the limited time I had, I restarted. You'll also notice that my contribution to the area significantly dropped. So crime certainly doesn't pay, if caught at least. Why commit crimes when there's so much to do in the world? I often found myself just looking around and taking it all in. We recorded on a lower resolution, but once we stopped recording, we could bump it up. It even looked better than it does now. This is one section of the world, one biome, and it barely scratches the absolutely massive scale of the world. You notice the size of the world when you're falling here, and everywhere you can see, you can travel to. However, it looks much smaller than it actually is while you're on the ground. I don't think many people will see all there is to see in this game. You can also zoom in and out by pressing the face button on the PS controller. It zooms all the way to first person and you can explore the world this way, and it's truly beautiful and it has much more of a Skyrim feel to it. However, you can't fight in this mode sadly, but I'm glad it's here.
Hello.
There is also a lot to learn in this game, and I don't mean in order to play. Learning is an actual mechanic. As you get to explore, your character Cliff will be learning new things. See here, this ore, we don't know what it is. So by examining it in the shop, we learn more about it and what we can use it for. This also applies to skills. There's an extensive skill tree in the game for each character, but did you know you can learn skills for Cliff simply by observing them done in the world? For example, you can observe this boss doing a pump kick, and once the bar is filled, you learn it and can do it yourself. If you had already invested into the skill, your Abyss artifacts will be refunded. Here we are watching an echo of an ally performing a force palm. You can check your map to find all of these locations where you can learn skills within the skill tab, but it won't tell you exactly how to learn it. But a lot of the time it's simply finding a boss in the area or observing an NPC. You can't learn every enemy's attacks, and they have a lot of them. From very early on in the game, as early as the tutorial, you'll notice enemies launching off special attacks against you. Red means they're unblockable. However, there is a huge variety of attacks that even basic enemies can use, and there seems to be a fair few enemy types. You're not the only one using Spirit to enhance your combat prowess, and I don't think just because an enemy's human that they're helpless. You might feel helpless trying to platform in a third-person game. Jumping to where you want to go precisely isn't always easy. However, in Crimson Desert you can hold L1 and target where you want to go, then press jump to go exactly where you targeted, making these platforming areas, mostly in the Sky Abyss, much easier. You'll spend a fair bit of your time in the air, so how do you avoid falling to your death? Gliding, of course. Gliding will rapidly consume your stamina, which is especially noticeable early on when you have no stamina investment. However, gliding without moving will consume no stamina and gently slow your fall. There is fall damage, but seemingly zero fall damage if you happen to be on a horse. Use both of these tips to avoid dying from great heights. No trip to the glue factory for you, Clops. The first time you jump off a Sky Abyss area, the first tutorial area that is, there's a shovel right here. With it, you can treasure hunt, as if the world wasn't big enough already. Now you get to consider underground treasure. If it seems logical to do, it's probably something you can do. For example, lighting arrows on fire, then shooting them at vines. You could also angle your sword to reflect the light to do the same. Doing this can also reflect light into enemies' eyes. Being creative will let you kill your enemies in fun ways and unlock hidden areas while you explore. This one hidden area I couldn't enter because I had no way of lighting a fire and burning away the foliage. You can gift items to NPCs or intimidate them to change their perception of you. Even a simple greeting will boost every NPC's opinion of you, be it by a small amount. You get a larger boost by giving money to beggars, but why do you need to do this? Some people might offer better prices or provide missions, or it might do nothing at all.
Be at ease. I'm here. I pray the day greets you well.
When you're walking or riding a horse, if an NPC is leading you somewhere, which they often will, you can tap X or hold X to automatically follow along, meaning you won't need to control your character and can simply enjoy the view or check your phone or do whatever you dopamine addicted children do these days. But be sure not to miss the little things around the world. For example, you can pass bounty posters. Take it and examine it to get hints where your target is. Generally though, it's up to you to track them down precisely. You can also examine posters that are on boards around towns to take additional side quests. Enemies can flee from battle if you start dominating to get reinforcements. At least that's what it looked like. I can't be sure. And if you're not sure as well, you might as well shoot them in the back before they escape. I never let one get away, so I don't know what exactly it does if they do. Because of the dynamic weather and day and night cycle, you can be pulled into battle in the middle of the night. Even with fires around, it's very hard to see. They aren't holding your hand in this game. Dark is dark. And that's all I wanted to show off for this video. What do you think? More or less excited for Crimson Desert? Let me know below. It's a massive game, so if you want to know more or have any questions, let me know and be sure to do the typical YouTube stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, ciao friends.